Hi you guys, Rachel here, the Modern Shaman. Thanks for being with me for another YouTube Q&A video of the week. If you're new to my channel, I am glad you're here. I hope that you find something that resonates with you. And if you would like to follow up further, if you'd like a personal session with me, or to follow through in terms of some mentorship in your own personal practices or guidance in education in the non-physical realm, shamanic understanding, as well as psychic training and energy work. I have lots of modules and teaching platform online that's available through my website. Again, that's themodernshaman.net. So lots of resources for those of you guys who would like further help and connection with me. And I do hope that you check it out. I have people that literally will have a session and I'll say, how did you find out about me? And they'll be like, I have followed you for like 6 years on video and on YouTube, and I've never reached out and had a session until now. And I'm like, oh, it feels like a longtime friend because they know all of these things and I have lots of things in common. So please reach out. I love those connections whenever you feel like your heart is telling you to do so. All right, and then thanks for sending in your questions. This is a long one, so I'll read it and then we'll get started from there. It says, hi Rachel, I love this channel. Thank you so much for your time and devotion to us. I've been watching you for years now and never asked a question. What I honestly want to know is kind of hard to put into a question format, but I always have this strange feeling like I'm waiting for something. Like I will have more peace once my kids go to college and are out of the house, or I will be able to do my psychic work when my parents pass away and can no longer judge my beliefs, or I will have time to research and do more training on my energy healing when I retire, or I can enjoy life more once I am by myself. It's always like a never-ending excuse in my head of not now, but later. And this keeps me in a pattern of discontent. Can you give me any advice for how to change this within myself? That's an awesome question, isn't it? This is just like you said, it's a belief pattern and kind of a paradigm that we live within. Oftentimes this is created when we are young, in our childhood, if we have adults or those around us that are kind of always promoting things that are better later. The vacation coming up, or you'll get a prize later, or this sense of like, well, when you go to college, it's going to be the best times of your life, or when you finally get a job, then you'll be able to make your own decisions. There's always a sense of like, again, that statement that you identified, not now, later. So what happens to many people is that, just like you said, it creates kind of an underlying discontent in our life to where we feel like we never quite reach a space of peace and relief and contentment. So my first piece of advice to you, I'm going to give you three things. Break it down and try to keep it simple. And these are very tangible and doable, because essentially when a pattern is created, it's created by doing and saying. And so we recreate a new pattern in the same manner, right? I've talked about this in many videos before, but even when I do healing work and work through trauma or work through relational patterns, when there is something that has gone on for a long period of time, oftentimes energetically, it creates cords of belief that look like a woven tapestry, right? Or some kind of rug that's got strings of belief patterns in them. So in order to recreate something that is no longer or that is better for us, we have to do that a string at a time. So my first piece of advice to you to create that is to take a moment and prioritize, or to notice what things bring you peace, what things bring you the ability of feeling like you're in your own space, you're happy, you're able to follow through with your beliefs, you're connecting with energy work, all of the things you mentioned, right? Identify, and you may literally want to write this down. I know that for me, many years ago, I remember literally taking a journal and going, what makes me happy? And I couldn't answer it. I couldn't, like, just me, outside of my kids, my family, my husband. I was like, what do I, just on my own, with nobody else connected, what do I enjoy? What makes me happy? That was a very hard question for me at one time. And so you may be in that place also, when you have been giving so much to others and your life has been so outwardly focused. It takes a moment to stop and redirect that energy and that mental focus on ourselves. So I would sit down, write on a piece of paper things that bring you closer to what you're wanting, whether it's peace in the house. You mentioned that. You mentioned being able to live out your beliefs. You mentioned being able to have time, being able to do energy work. And it may just be meditating, listening to music, reading a book that inspires you, having oracle cards, something that feels mystically creative and connected. Once you have that list, I would start your day every day. Here's the pattern part, with one of those items. All right. Now I'll give you a simple example. I noticed a long time ago that my house is happier when I start the day with music. And it's not like crazy music, but if I have music on when the kids are getting ready in the morning, when I'm getting dressed in the morning, when I'm cooking breakfast, or when the kids are kind of trying to get ready for packing their bags and getting lunches, if there's calm music, a lot of times I'll put on the meditation channel on Alexa, or relaxing classical or something like this. I notice that. And so I have created that pattern to start the vibrational tone with frequencies of peace. And it really helps. It makes a huge difference. So one of those things, pick to be your morning routine, to start your energy in a sense of connection. Maybe it is reading and picking an oracle card. And literally you can put them like, I have 2 decks that I love and a book that I love of inspirational quotes. And it's literally sitting on a wooden kind of like platform bench right next to the toilet, because I know I've got to go there first thing in the morning. And so that's the first thing I see. And that becomes my habit of like, let me just pick something and start my head in a space of intentionality. I want to be intentional with this day. So, and I also have those little books that have like quotes. I have that also in the bathroom, right where next to my makeup counter. And it has the date, and then it has a inspiring quote. I pick those for my kids. They're in their bathroom. It's like, I want to be intentional about the patterns, particularly that I start at the beginning of the day. Because as we know, that energy will snowball, okay? And it will start a new pattern of living for you. So choose one of those things from your list. And my encouragement is that you start every day with it, or a couple of those things, but don't overwhelm yourself. That's why I said pick one. My second piece of advice for you would be kind of during the day to train yourself or retrain yourself to stop in moments when you are happy. Now that sounds very simple, but oftentimes we don't do this. This is a magnification of energy. This is an amplifier. So when we validate what is, it amplifies the energetic power of it, okay, like a megaphone. And I'm literally talking about in energy, because essentially it's duplicating it or doubling it, like exponentially, when it brings it into meta consciousness. So when something's happening and we're just doing it, we're laughing at a joke, or the kids come home and they tell you a funny story of what happened at school. And oftentimes I'll ask them, tell me something funny or unexpected that happened today. Because I want to get started on that instead of like, what happened? or what homework do you have, or blah, blah, blah. But we start with that. When that happens, when something funny or happy is occurring, or even just like you notice a beautiful sunrise when you're driving to work in the morning, take a second and validate it out loud. That was really funny and it made me happy. Learn that phrase. That's really beautiful and it makes me feel awe. That was an awesome moment all together in our car where we were all laughing about that story that happened, with one of the kids in school today. And that was a perfect family moment. Like, love these family moments. Just be aware and validate out loud, just for a minute, just takes 1 minute, something that is good, that is bringing the things that you want in life and bringing them essentially to the forefront and then magnifying them. So you're duplicating or doubling the energy. It's not just duplicating, it's literally exponentially, okay? Because it ripples out, and the power, when you look at it, similar to like a Wi-Fi signal, it grows in strength when you validate and magnify this stuff. When I teach this with healing, this is also a very, very important and pivotal part of what makes healing more powerful. Just side note for those of you guys that are healers watching this channel. When you're doing a healing, I always ask afterwards, what do you notice that's different? How do you feel relief? Okay, and I get that person to express it and validate to their own body what their body did well. Because your body needs to know, this is what I wanted you to do all along. I didn't want you to carry that stress. I wanted you to release it, or whatever it may be that brought the healing. This is a powerful component of the way energy shifts our experience of life. So that's my second piece of advice. Stop for a second. Every time you see something that's beautiful, that's good, that's fun, that's joyous, and validate it out loud. Okay, my last piece of advice, my third thing that I will say to do, and this I just love, and I do it as often as I can. I'm being honest, I don't do it every single night, but when you're laying in bed, whether it's you or with your partner, I always turn over to my husband and I'm like, we have a great life. You know what happened today? This, and this, and they were awesome. Or maybe it didn't even happen that day. Maybe it's just like, you know what? We're very blessed with this, and this. I always just end with things are good. Because oftentimes, this is the only time my husband and I get to have quality conversation. Because we have a very demanding life in terms of our time. And we are both very involved with our families. They live close. We have them with us. We have 5 kids. There's just a lot going on. And we have our routine of you take the bath, you get in bed, and then we just kind of fill in from the day. It's just us. It's in the dark. And there's no pressure. We just talk about the day. But we always end with that bit of but you know what? Things are good. Despite all of this stuff and all of the things that we're we need to work with this kid, or we notice one of our other kids is struggling in this way, or we've got this upcoming decision we got to make, or we've got to move some money around here. Whatever the logistical part of our human experience is, we talk about that, but then we end with, you know what? It's still really, really good. Even if it's just I love you and I'm glad you're in my life. I'm glad you're laying right next to me, or you know what? I'm just glad that sometimes today's over and I am laying in this comfortable bed and I have a pillow under my head. I mean, that is a freaking good moment sometimes. So that's my last piece of advice is before you end your day, end with a little bit of what you want more in your life. Peace. Thinking about something mystically connecting you to your beliefs. Say a prayer. Have a awareness of something that felt truly mystical. Intend for something that you want to dream about. Activate those aspects of yourself that you want more in your life. Be intentional about it. And the practice of starting something morning, noon, or all throughout the day, those little moments of joy, And in the end, that will recreate a new tapestry for your life. And you will find it's just the continuation of it after time, after time, after time. When you make these patterns, that's how this negative pattern got here in the first place. It will create a positive pattern in your life. It's just the way it is. There's nothing mystical about that. That's very logical and systematic, but it will work. So I hope that that is beneficial to you and that your life literally brings more moments that you fully thrive and enjoy and celebrate. Mwah! Blessings, you guys. Hey, next week, by the way, tomorrow, I am leaving for Egypt. It is something I've always wanted to do. It's been like a heart's desire since I was a child. So I have been full force, like every meditation has been pyramid meditation and frequencies. I'm so excited leading up to this. And I'm going to try to do my weekly videos over there. Egypt has pretty strict regulations about filming, and it's because I've wanted to do like a meditation. We're getting a private tour in the pyramids, and I was like, I want to do meditation, but I couldn't get permission to do that. Go figure. So I'll try to just release some pieces while I'm over there in Egypt. I would love to share that energy with you all. And so be back here next week. We'll be traveling and I'll share it with you guys. All right, much love. Blessings.